Welcome, Bureau Nation, to the Coach's Corner, presented by Cap Pizza and Pub. Here's your host, Paul Tipton.
Snap is there, the hold is down, the kick. Block! Bureau Beach! You're gonna win the ball game and beat Booker T. Washington here at home. Oh my goodness.
What a moment it was. Vero Beach with a win off of a blocked field goal last Friday night to beat Booker T. Washington 24-21. Gary and I, as of course, we're going crazy in the press box, and welcome here, Vero Nation, as Vero Beach improves to 4-3 with that win last Friday night. I've got Gary Parrish and Coach Jankowski here with us tonight. Welcome to Coach's Corner here at Cap's Pizza. Coach, what a moment it was. I mean, it was a battle all the way through all four quarters, and coming down to that last minute of the ball game and having to block a field goal. I can only imagine what your emotions were like.
Yeah, it was exciting for sure, and goodness, I mean, you think about all the things that we emphasize, as coaches, about playing hard for 48 minutes, about, all three phases of the game, complementing each, and having it play out the way it played out was, it was a very fitting ending and a lot of fun. It was a very fun game.
It was, as statistically speaking, it was very interesting to look at the numbers here. 53 plays, only 145 yards on the offensive side. But a lot of that had to do because of the defense and the takeaways that they got through the course of the ballgame that set you guys up on a short porch.
Yeah, I thought we were, sometimes with yardage statistics, it all depends on where you start your drives from. And I thought, and how we handle those drives. And so, part of the game plan was to obviously limit their possessions and try to control the ball a little bit and eat some clock. We know they were, they're obviously a very explosive football team, and limiting their possessions we felt like would be to our advantage. So I felt like we executed that game plan. I think the first time that we had the ball, we ended up using 17 plays, finished with a 31-yard field goal by Sam Kynes. And I think that ending that with points was critical. Obviously, they were able to get the ball and scored pretty quick after that and made it 7-3. But then we were able to, again, not to go through a blow-by-blow, but as we took the 10-7 lead and there was less than a minute left in halftime, one of our guys here tonight had a big 81-yard interception return for a touchdown. So we were able to go into halftime leading 17-7. The possessions were limited. We had opportunities in that first half where through a muffed punt, we were able to get good field position. We went for it on fourth down, didn't get in. A couple plays later while they were on offense, Malachi Reed has a strip sack. We recover, and then boom, we go in on a big third down run by Champ Mons, our quarterback. And really, it was just a great game. And it was one of those games that I think when you talk about it being a collective effort, it was really a collective effort. There were a bunch of guys that I'm sure going into that game didn't realize the impact that they were going to have on the final outcome. So that was fun.
You did something right. What I really enjoyed so much is that you took advantage of the situation and you had a game plan. The plan that you used, you didn't know the ball was going to bounce off the helmet.
No.
But the field position. You took advantage of that and you went down and you scored when you got the ball back. You told us one part of it was that your plan worked. You had a good game plan. It worked. It was working. It was doing the things that you want. You won the game, but what was that plan going in, Coach? What did you?
Well, like I said, I think that, and we talked about it collectively as a staff, both an offense and defensive staff, and that's one of the joys of working with the guys that I work with is that we always, we may not go into things always having the same ideas, but by the time we leave a meeting, everybody's typically on the same page, and it's always great to get input from defensive coaches and especially the quality of defensive coaches that we have, and so when we left the staff meeting on Sunday afternoon, we decided that. Look, we needed to eat some clock on offense if we could. And I reminded them that that's all fine and good, but those possessions need to end with points. We can eat all the clock we want. The name of the game is still that we've got to score more than they score, and it doesn't matter if it's 7-6, 24-20. or 99 to 98. We've got to score more than they do, and that's kind of got to be the object. And so when we were able to do that, of course, we were opportunistic as well with some turnovers, whether it be through special teams, as we had a couple big special teams plays, and that was great to see as well, because we've sat in these chairs talking about some special teams deficiencies that we had early in the season. So I think as we've continued to grow through this season, not have we just seen individual growth with individual players, but I think also team growth in all three phases.
Coach, you were down 7-3 late in the second quarter. And then because of one takeaway, you talked about Champ able to run in. And then next thing you know, an interception in about a span of 90 seconds on the game clock. Man, what a difference it made going into the locker room at halftime.
Well, it's a game of momentum for sure. And we've talked about all these things, and we were up 10-7 and they're driving. And I mean, goodness, I'm sure that you guys in the booth, us on the sideline, fans in the stands, when they had the ball in their hands, I mean, they had their starting quarterback back. I don't know if the average fan realizes and recognizes that, but he hadn't played for 4 or 5 weeks, and he's back, and he was a difference maker in my mind. We saw him, early in the season, and then not that the backup was a slouch by any stretch of the imagination, but they're a different team with that kid back there. He was a big kid and could spin the ball and get it to his playmakers. And so when they had the ball, it was, we're holding our breath and doing some things. And what I think the thing that really created some opportunities for us on defense was the pressure that we were able to put on them. Not all the time did we get to them, but even on the play where Devin returns it for a touchdown, we're putting pressure. We're going after him. He's under duress, and he puts the ball, I'm sure, an ill-advised, throw from his staff, but puts it in, and Devin makes a play and takes it to the house and brings us into halftime. Really feeling pretty good about ourselves.
When you went into the locker room at halftime, what was your talk to the boys, knowing you had that 10-point lead? Well,
I mean, we really had to play the best second half. I felt, of the season, those last 24 minutes, and we didn't know 24 plus sometimes, but we knew that we were going to have some challenges. The obvious was the obvious. They have some very talented players in all phases of the game, and so we were going to have to come out and play a clean second half, take advantage of some situations, put some points, some additional points, and try to limit theirs, and fortunately for us, we made a few more plays than they did and came out with the win.
Coach, they were as you said it last Tuesday, they're fast. They were fast. You weren't joking. That team had a bunch of good athletes, and it was fun watching the strategy by both Coach Mata and you as you guys moved the ball up and down the field. But their speed was unbelievably good. And I tell you what, and so was ours, especially by a kid that picked off that interception. Nobody going to touch him now.
That was fun, right?
Yeah,
it sure was. And speaking of Devin Green, Corbin Phillips, who are Scott Sporting Goods players of the game, are with us. And when we come back, we'll talk to those young men. Stick around. More of Coach's Corner coming up right after this.
Hi, JW here from Barker Air Conditioning and Heating, serving the Indian River County area since 1959 and supporting fighting Indian sports for decades. We're known for being HVAC specialists for installation and service. Local, licensed, and insured, Barker is a trained comfort specialist that services all makes and models. BarkerAC.com.
The Fighting Indians rely on teamwork, and so does Christian FM. One of those teammates is Scott Sporting Goods. Scott Sporting Goods features an array of sporting equipment, including clothes and shoes. They are also the ones that fit our Fighting Indians broadcast team with the Fighting Indians apparel. Located in downtown Vero Beach, 1407 20th Street. Their phone number is 778-0661. Thanks to Scott Sporting Goods.
Christian FM thanks SOS Pest Services, who know that Florida's warm climate means pests of all types, disrupting our comfort and lifestyle. When it's time to sound the alarm, SOS will send their technicians to promptly deal with the problem. So no more worries about unwanted guests. SOS Pest has a range of services tailored to meet individual needs, serving Orchid, Indian River Shores, North Hutchinson Island, and surrounding areas. Owned and managed by lifetime local pros. Online at sospestservices.com or 772-296-2966.
The Coach's Corner, presented by Caps Pizza and Pub.
And welcome back. Here we are on this Tuesday night at Coach's Corner at Caps Pizza. I'm Paul Tipton. I'm joined by our Scott Sporting Good players of the game. To my right, this is Corbin Phillips. To my left, this is Devin Green. Offense, defense. Guys, what a special game that was this past Friday night against Booker T. Washington. It's a very well-known, respected program, and you knew that these guys were going to come in. They're going to have some swag about them, but Vero Beach showed them what swag was all about, didn't they, Corbin?
Always.
Yeah, tell me about it. What was it like down there in the trenches?
And it's great, man. Every time at practice, we got to execute and do what we think, because Coach, they be telling us that we got to steps, everything, but when we get in the game, we dominate the trenches every time.
Absolutely, man. It was a nail-biter all the way to the end. What was your reaction when you saw that blocked field goal?
I was happy. I was so happy. I had to run out the field to my players that made the block. I was happy, man.
You're doing him dancing?
No, I just jumped up with him.
Just jumped up? All right. I thought I felt the ground shake a little bit, so I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
All right, Devin, man, you talk about momentum swings, man. You got the Tornadoes were driving on us, and then all of a sudden a bad pass by their quarterback lands in your hands, and you're off to the races. Take me through that play.
Yes, sir. I was just spurred, and I seen I was out of safety, and then I just seen him. He came, seen the quarterback roll out, and then that's when I just seen it. Just dropped him in hand. I got it and just took it to the other end zone.
Now, when you guys were working on things in practice throughout the course of the week, was there discussions about this? Like, if we put this kind of pressure on this quarterback, we might see this or see that? Was that some of the discussion?
Really, yeah, the quarterback like to roll out a lot, so our linebackers and DNs were putting a lot of pressure, and he was just forcing the ball.
Did you get when you got done with that pick six? Did you go over and give your boy TJ a high five?
Yeah, I want to go give him that spot.
He really helped you out there. He put that pressure on that quarterback and made him make a bad throw there. So, man, that was awesome. So I'm gonna ask you the same thing. When the guys blocked the field goal, what was your reaction?
My reaction, I really had belief in the team because we was going through it at practice all week. So when it happened, I was like, it worked.
You just kind of knew it was going to happen, didn't you?
Yeah.
It worked. All right, I appreciate that. All right, well, it looks like we're going to have some time off. You guys looking forward to a little bit of time off? Feel like you need to get healed up? What do you think, Corbin? Or you want to get back right at it?
I want to get that right at it.
Yeah.
I think we're good for it. I think we do it.
Yeah, I kind of feel you. Well, circumstances being what they are, they're not going to let us play for a little bit. So I guess we're going to have to just figure out, maybe do a couple of scrimmages or something like that in the meantime. So how you feel about that, Devin? I mean, you want to be back out on the field, or are you looking forward to a little time off?
I want to play football.
Yeah, I hear you.
I want to play.
I hear you. Well, it looks like our next opponent's going to be Treasure Coast. And what do you think about the Titans? I mean, this has been a rivalry for quite some time now. What do you know about the Titans at this point, Corbin?
Well, I saw on them, they're 0-6. But I think we got it. We think we got it in the bag. I think we're gonna beat them, and just gotta execute nutrition all around the field. That's it.
All right. What do you think, Devin?
I think, man, we played them. Well, Vero played them last year. I lost to them, so I feel like this year we can play as a team and win this one.
Yeah, it's time to get back on the winning ways against Treasure Coast, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, guys, appreciate the time. Wish you the best of luck. I hope you guys can stay safe through this storm that's coming through, and look forward to seeing you guys back out on the field here in just a couple of weeks. So I got Devin Green, I got Corbin Phillips, and we're going to step aside. We come back. Coach Jay and Gary are going to come back. We're going to talk a little bit more about Vero Beach football. Stick around.
Cafe 66, located on US 1 just south of 8th Street. At Cafe 66, our breakfast menu is all about variety. From biscuits and gravy to country fried steak and eggs to Nutella stuffed French toast. Our lunch and dinner menus have something for everyone, from barbecue platters to unique burgers. Our hours online at cafe66vero.com. We proudly support the Fighting Indians.
Hi, Derek West here from the Genesis Church of Vero Beach. We are proud supporters of Fighting Indians football and Vero Beach athletics. We invite you to join us this Sunday at 9:15 for our services. If you can't join us in person, please visit us online at gcvero.com. Genesis Church of Vero Beach, place of love where honest men are known and unafraid to love the hardest stone. Visit us at gcvero.com.
Geno's Nutrition Shop carries a wide selection of safe supplements for athletes no matter their age, especially regular gym goers. I'm Geno, and we love supporting the Fighting Indians. Our supplements work for muscle recovery, hydration, focus, immunity health, along with grab-and-go meals. At Geno's Nutrition Shop in Miracle Mile, our customers are family.
The Coach's Corner, presented by Caps Pizza and Pub.
Well, here we are back at Caps Pizza for Coach's Corner. Paul Tipton along with Coach Jankowski and Gary Paris. And Vero Beach with the win last Friday night improves to 4-3. And we were set to take on Rockledge, but thanks to Hurricane Milton, Coach, it looks like that game is going to be washed out.
Yeah, we found out this morning that unfortunately the game's been canceled. We went through the weekend and obviously through yesterday preparing for Rockledge. They're one of the more recognizable programs in Brevard County. So we're looking forward to that opportunity to get up there and get it rolling. But obviously there are bigger and more important things happening right now. So we certainly understand. Hopefully this storm, veers off or does something. You don't ever want to wish it too hard one way or the other because you know it's going to affect somebody, And one of my daughters lives over in Tampa, so she's made her way over here and I actually had an opportunity to go pick up my other daughter in Gainesville. So they're both here on at Caps tonight on Coach's Corner. So we're excited to have the girls here. But anyway, it's one of those things. And I remember going into the season that they had predicted that this was going to be a rough hurricane season and all those kind. And here we are. A little past midway of the season, and we've had two of our weeks, altered by storms. So we'll just deal with it as it is, and hopefully we get through this thing okay. Everybody stays safe, as will be our number one goal, and get back to routine. Hopefully, after this thing decides to make its way through here.
Yeah. Now I know obviously school is closed through Thursday at this point. Things can obviously get changed, and you have to kind of stay fluid. But with the bye week on the horizon here, Coach, what do you see as the plan now for the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, it's definitely uncharted territory having this week off and canceled. It's not that often that we're not around our players for more than 24 hours, much less, here not having school Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Obviously, we had an opportunity to do some things yesterday, but that was all in preparation, really in a cram session, trying to figure out, okay, if we play this game on Friday, we're not going to see each other Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then have to play against a very talented Rockledge football team on Friday. So we were in a big cram session yesterday, mostly a walkthrough, trying to clean some things up from Friday night. There's always some things that we've got to get improved in all three phases, and then give them a preview of what we expected to see. So that was what we did yesterday. And then here we knew we were not going to be around on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Typically on a regular bye week, what we'll do is we'll try to use all the things, get some guys opportunities that may not have gotten opportunities in games, simulate some game situation for some guys that we know or figure that they're going to be counted on here down the stretch. Also try to use the time to get some guys healthy. We're going in, I think, including the Kickoff Classic, that's been 8 straight weeks against some of the top competition in the state. Those have all been very, very physical football games. So even our quote unquote healthy guys are still banged up and feeling the effects of playing 8 games in a row. So use some of that for that. And really just use those extra times. Obviously, on the back end of that, we'll have a district game against Treasure Coast, and they're always tough to prepare for.
So I know you always try to see how you can make the most out of a season, and in a situation like this, were you trying to explore the possibility of finding another team in our bye week, or you just felt like maybe best to leave it alone?
Well, it just happened this morning, and so we don't know how this is going to play out. You guys know me well enough to know I like to play a 10-game season, 10-game regular season if we can at all. If at all possible. What we don't want to do is put ourselves in a situation where it's going to have the adverse effect and we're going to try to cram something in and do something just for the sake of doing it. And then put our backs against the wall in the last 2 games of the season. So we'll see how it plays out. I don't have any big predictions right now. We'll just take it day by day. hopefully get through this storm safe and sound and see where that takes us.
Well, obviously, if we don't get another game in there, our next opponent will be Treasure Coast, our final district game of the season. You got a team that is winless right now, and they've got their first district games that's supposed to be for Thursday, but most likely that's probably going to get pushed one day or another. What do you know about Treasure Coast at this point?
Well, they've had, a very comparable schedule to ours in that they've played some of the, top tier teams in the state. They're the type of football team that if their opponent is able to get up on them, they don't do as well as if they're playing in the lead. And they've had some close games. They had, early in the season, they had a really close game with Jensen Beach, who, if you listen to some of the local stuff, that they've got them coined as, a very, very talented football team. I haven't seen Jensen. I think that was maybe a 1-point game or something like that. They played Kissimmee Osceola early in the season in a pretty close game. Here lately, some of the scores have been a little lopsided. The Atlantic score was a little lopsided, West Boca score, but we know they're both very talented football teams. So again, I'm not one to put a whole lot of stock into score comparing because each game has a life of its own. But it is a little surprising that at this point in the season that they're still looking for their first win. I don't think that has anything to do with their level of talent or their ability to beat anybody on any given Friday night.
Well, certainly if you look at the power rankings, that would suggest otherwise. Even though they're winless, they've got a pretty strong power rating.
Sure. And of course that has to do with strength of schedule and probably, some of their opponent's strength of schedule as well.
Coach, having this week the game canceled and having a bye week next week, what will you do now? What's your schedule going to be like? You're back to school Friday. How will you manage to keep your team focused then for the following week for your big game?
Well, we hope that we're back in school Friday. Our schools are used as shelters, and so I know that the shelters open this afternoon at 2 p.m. and speaking to our administration, they're already getting pretty thick with people in there, and so they're depending on the timing of this storm, how late those shelters stay open. Obviously they have in using the schools as shelters, those will have to be cleaned and sanitized before they can have school again. So who knows when we get back to school? I mean, hopefully it is Friday. If not, we'll just have to play this thing day by day and plan it accordingly. But having the bye week, that was something on schedule. The only thing that was different is that we expected to be playing this week and having a game on Friday night.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you just got to be fluid in these situations and just figure out what is next for the program. And what seems to be next will be Treasure Coast on October 25th. That will be at the Citrus Bowl. So if you haven't gotten your tickets, you still have an opportunity to get those tickets. And let's make sure we show out for our boys on that Friday night, October 25th, for a big district matchup between us and Treasure Coast. Coach, appreciate your time. Wish you the best through the course of this storm. Gary, same for you. And
thank you.
Folks, Vero Nation, we wish you the best of luck as you go through this situation. Hopefully we'll see you on the flip side of this storm, and look forward to talking a little more Vero football when we get through all of this. For Coach Jankowski, Gary Parris, I'm Paul Tipton. Thanks so much. As always, go Indians.
Thanks for watching the Coach's Corner, presented by Caps Pizza and Pub.